You're back. Why are you so obsessed with me? Hi everybody, how are you today? My name is Tori. I like to get on here about once a week and just go over different true crime cases. While I'm talking to you guys, we're just going to chit chat like some old friends. I'm actually going to color a picture. At the end of the video, I'll show you my masterpiece. And yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to start this out with. This week has been a fucking doozy. I say this week, but really this entire month can just go eat a bag of dicks. Anyways, enough about how I wish the literal entire month of May would just go kick rocks. Let's get colorful and creepy. All right, you guys, today we are going to be talking about my toddler wants to watch me burn. Hold please, I'm gonna go retrieve my crotch goblin. I'm back! And things have gone to hell in a handbasket in the last 20 minutes. Mattis, I think, is getting his 2-year molars in, so he is extra diva-ish lately. And I started coloring with markers because, I don't know, I just wanted to switch it up. And my marker literally just started like balling up on me. So I just decided to switch back to colored pencils. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so this starts in May of 2005 with a man by the name of Thomas Montgomery. Okay, so Thomas, he is a 46-year-old man. He is from upstate New York. He is married and had been married for, I believe, like over 20 years. Him and his wife Cindy had 2 daughters together. So in May of 2005, Thomas starts kind of frequenting these chat rooms. It was on a popular like gaming website called Pogo. While he was in there, he was just kind of perusing around, looking for something to do. I don't know, just trying to kill some time. So Thomas's screen name for this Pogo website was Marine Sniper. I feel like anytime somebody says that they were a sniper and just like openly offers that information, they're probably lying. So just to clarify, Thomas was in the Marine Corps at one point in his life, when he was much younger. But some of the records that have been pulled for him show that he was not a sniper. Surprise, surprise. He was, I guess, trained and shot to qualify as a sharpshooter, but was not a sniper. Also didn't really see any wartime action. So, I don't know. Take with that information what you will. So, while he's kind of perusing around on this website, he gets an instant message from a screen name, TALHOTBLOND. Who? TALHOTBLOND? We know that's a fucking lie. Anyways, so he gets an instant message from TALHOTBLOND, and he starts to converse. He's like, okay, yeah, what's going on here? Let's see what's up. So this TALHOTBLOND he was conversing with was an 18-year-old from West Virginia named Jessie. Jessie was a senior in high school. She was a softball player, an athlete, and drop dead gorgeous. So they start talking and sending pictures back and forth. Jessie was pretty much everything that her screen name described her to be, so I guess that's good because she's being pretty well honest. Thomas was sending pictures of himself from when he was in the Marine Corps. Many years prior to this. So I don't know how that wouldn't have been a red flag, because the picture from his boot camp, which I'll put it somewhere here, it's very obviously dated. Like, even in the mid 2000s, like, Okay, Grandpa, calm down. Not today. So, anyways, Thomas and Jesse, things get real hot and heavy real fast. Okay, so Thomas was pretending to be 18-year-old Tommy, who he described as about 6 feet tall, just a total dreamboat, I guess, like muscles, blah, 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 bright red hair, and that he resembled a young Harrison Ford. Weird flex, but okay. Anyways, so Jessie, she's like, oh, young Harrison Ford, hell yeah, let's do it. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning too is right around this time, this is when we were like balls deep in the conflict with the Middle East. So also keep that part in mind too. So throughout the course of their relationship, they did often send each other gifts, which consisted of like, Jesse's underwear, jewelry. Like I think she had sent him some dog tags with like some cheesy shit engraved on it, and then later sent him like a key to my heart necklace, again with more chonies because why not? So about 8 months into this weird relationship, Tommy proposes marriage to Jesse. Jesse accepts, and they're all like, I don't know, super jazzed about this. So to celebrate, Thomas sends her a poinsettia. Jesse sends him more chonies. Which, another side note, I feel like a poinsettia, listen, I love poinsettias. I am a total grandma at heart. That's a very old lady gift to give somebody, right? Like, if somebody sent me poinsettias, like, let me rephrase this. If my love interest sent me poinsettias, I would be kind of weirded out by that, right? Like, not like a normal flower, like a rose, or I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But anyways, let me know what you guys. And at one point, Thomas's web of lies got so big, he had to create a whole third persona. Tommy's dad. Okay, so Tommy's dad comes into the picture. And he kind of chit-chats with Jesse while Tommy is deployed. And he tells her, you can send me care packages for Tommy. Like, I have connections in Iraq and I'll make sure he gets them in a timely fashion. So Jesse's like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So she constantly just starts sending care packages. So along with the care packages, the correspondence between Jesse and Tommy's dad consisted of a lot of drama, some threats, and even more lies. So Thomas slowly starts to lose touch with reality and almost views this fake life that he's created as more reality than his actual life, with his wife and children and things that are actually real. And he just is acting sketch as hell. He's on the internet for, hours on hours. He's not sleeping. He's acting a fool. So Thomas eventually went and lost his goddamn mind and wrote himself like a New Year's resolution, because I think this was like right after the New Year had happened, so 2006 now. He wrote in there, he kind of rambles on, but basically what he's saying is, on this date, Thomas Montgomery ceases to exist and is replaced by 18-year-old Tommy Dreamboat motherfucker, whatever. And he is going to West Virginia to be with the love of his life. Jesus. So, anywho, he's really losing it. His wife is starting to notice some of his weird behaviors, like he's on the computer all hours of the night. He's not sleeping. He's acting like just completely erratic and way out of character for him, according to sources. So while Tommy is deployed to Iraq, a lot of the correspondence between he and Jesse were talking about what they anticipated their first night together would be like. She did express some anxiety about it because it would be her first time. Gross. Ugh. Anyways, so she also signed off one of her letters by saying, quote, "It won't be long until I'm Jessica Blair Montgomery," end quote. Which that is totally cringe as fuck. I'm embarrassed for her. But anyways, it's okay. She's a teenage girl. They say stupid shit. Okay, I was a teenage girl once and I know I said a lot of stupid stuff. And you guys remember how I said a minute ago that Thomas's wife was starting to get suspicious that maybe something was going on just because of all the time he was spending on the computer, all of the weird stuff that was happening. She did do some kind of digging herself and found some of their gifts to each other. So, you know, like the jewelry, the love letters, Jesse's chonies, everything. So she confronts Thomas about this and is like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this girl is the age of our daughters. Like, do you not understand? Like, have you lost your damn mind? I feel like as most reasonable women would probably do the same thing. Thomas didn't really care. He was just kind of like so infatuated with Jesse that he did not care about anything else. So his wife, Cindy, sends Jesse a letter. She's like, "Hey, this is my husband, Thomas. He's 46 years old," and it just goes on. Like, she includes a family picture and is like, "These are our children who are your age. This is my husband," and just exposes him. Like, receding hairline and all, exposes him. Bye, Tommy. Cindy did tell Jesse, like, just kind of like as a mother, she was like, don't believe words on a computer because you could be in danger, right? So Jesse is devastated by this and just, you know, seeks comfort from other people whom Thomas has talked about before, like his coworker, 22-year-old Brian Barrett. His screen name was, I think, Beefcake1527 or something like that. So lots of screen names going on. None of which are really emo or angsty, which kind of disappointed about, but it's fine. That's neither here nor there. Anywho, so Jesse and Brian both frequented the same website. He was a coworker of Thomas's. They worked at a company called Dynabraid. I think they were machinists. That's kind of what I gathered from the information that I found. That's what I'm calling them. So they were machinists. Brian was in school at the time. From pretty much everything that I found, great guy. He and Jesse got real hot and heavy real quick, as she did with Thomas as well. And Brian confirmed pretty much everything Thomas had been telling Jesse was buffoonery. And so they just carried on their little relationship. Another thing too is that Thomas was not happy about this. Yeah, some dude's moving in on his lady, or she's moving on, which honestly, Brian and Jesse were a lot closer in age. that makes more sense to me, but what do I know? So soon after things started getting kind of spicy between him and Jesse, he was kind of bragging to his coworkers about his new GF and how good looking she was, like kind of boasting about it in front of Thomas. He and Jesse would also regularly get on like public forums and even the Pogo website and would blatantly just call Thomas out. They called him, quote, a fucking loser and predator, end quote. Not wrong. This is not an inaccurate statement, so I'm not mad at it. So even though Thomas had been totally exposed and Jesse knew the truth and his true identity, she still was stringing him along and she was playing Thomas like a fiddle. That's right, she was stringing them both along. That's kind of gross. But anyways, she did tell Thomas that even though he was Thomas and not Tommy, that he lived on in her heart and that she just ached to be with Tommy. Yeah, maybe some standards would be great. Standards, and then, he probably could have used some Rogaine too. So, standards, Rogaine, So, for obvious reasons, Thomas gets really fucking jealous. And as soon as Brian and Jesse decide to make their relationship public and basically just put it out there on the internet for everybody, Thomas lost his shit completely. Like, he snapped. So on the evening of September 15th, 2006, Brian was clocking out for work. It was like just after 10:15, so nighttime. He gets in his truck. It's about to be the weekend. I think, according to some places I read, he was maybe about to go to West Virginia to see Jesse. And I think he had made that public knowledge to like his coworkers. So his coworkers knew that he was going to be going down there to meet her. And Thomas was not about to have any of that because, again, that's it. That's his woman. All right. Ugh. So Brian gets in his truck, and the second he gets seated, 3 shots ring out, and Brian's dead. So Brian actually wasn't found until I think 2 days later when people were coming back to work. They just assumed like he was in West Virginia seeing Jesse. But Brian had been shot in the neck and then I think in the upper arm. They believe he was shot with I think it was a .30 caliber rifle, which we kind of suspect is Thomas anyway, right? So, anyways, because Brian and Thomas had such a nasty and public falling out, they pretty well knew where to start with this one. So they're like, let's talk to this guy. So they bring Thomas in for questioning, and then they also go to track down Jesse. They're like, oh shit, like this 18, we need to go check on her and make sure she's okay. So they track Jesse down. They go to her home in West Virginia, and when the police officer knocks on the door, her mother answers. Her mother, Mary Schiedler. I'm not totally sure how to pronounce her last name, so sorry about it, but Mary. She answers the door, and the police officer is like, yo, is Jesse home? And she's like, no, Jesse's not home. She was here earlier, and I talked to her earlier today. I'm sure she'll be back at some point. So the officer just kind of starts pressing a little more on the issue. Like, no, like, we really need to make sure she's okay. Like, X, Y, and Z happened. And we really just need to make sure that she is safe. So then that's when the biggest fucking bombshell just dropped. Oh my God. Mary confesses to posing as her daughter for the last year and a half. She confesses to sending these men pictures of her daughter, of her teenage daughter, and pretending to be her for the last year and a half. Holy shit balls. What? Has it sank in yet? Yes, a year and a half. This lady was literally exploiting her daughter because she was bored. So they actually asked her, why? Why did you continue this? After she had found out that Thomas was not Tommy, or that Tommy didn't exist, I guess, technically. And she said, which this lady, she said that she carried on the relationship with Thomas because she didn't want him to target a real 18-year-old. Bitch, please. Okay. Sure, Mary. Sure. So Thomas was linked to the crime scene through multiple pieces of evidence. He was tried, convicted, and was sentenced to a whopping 20 years in prison. That's it. Just 20 years for taking somebody's life. Whatever. 20 years. Like, what a disgrace. Mary was not charged with anything. Not even voyeurism. Nothing. So that kind of blew my mind because, like, what normal human being does that to anybody, let alone their own child? Like, anyways, I didn't really finish my picture today. Between my toddler and just who I am as a person, I can't finish anything. So I didn't finish it. Don't judge me, but it's pretty fitting. Thomas, Mary, a message to you two. You are a shit sandwich. Jeez. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys next week. Let me know who you want to talk about next time, and I'll see y'all later.